In a world plagued by reboots, haunted by sequels, dominated by the same old shit, get ready for an original podcast that will gouge out your eyeballs and skull fuck you. Starring Ginger Josh, Adam the Hare, and introducing the immortal Frank. Hold on to your butts. It's the Game Rage Movies TV Podcast.
Oh, yeah. Back again for another wonderful episode of Game Rage Movies and TV. My name's Josh. I'm here today with Adam.
Yes, hello.
And we're going to be continuing our discussion and review of The Bear, Season 2.
Bear.
The Bear, Season 2.
Appropriately named after all the fucking sports teams. Well, at least two of them. Chicago Bears, Chicago Cubs. Carmy Bearzado. I mean, what are the... God. Of course, the show had to take place in Chicago.
You know, I will just say, Chicago's terrible. People are from Chicago are terrible. All right?
People from Chicago are terrible.
They're probably...
They're the... Yeah.
They're like the Tuscan Raiders of America. Anyways, if you want to hear us talk about other things that aren't movies and TV, additionally, you can go to GameRageMagazine.com and you can hear our multitude and full slew of podcasts that we have available for your listening pleasure. You can go to Game Rage at Game Rage Magazine on Instagram and TikTok, at Game Rage Mag on Twitter/X, and you can listen to all of our podcasts on any fucking podcast listening app that you may have or that exists, because we're on all of them. Hell, I think some of them even pirate us and fucking put ads in front of it and we don't get any money. But fuck those guys. If you hear ads, don't fucking listen, because go to a different app, because we're not getting paid. And we don't ask you for money, so you shouldn't be giving any money to anybody else. Anyways, cat, what are you fucking doing? Jesus Christ, the cat just grabbed my toe. That was weird. Anyway, so today we're doing The Bear, Season 2.
The Bear.
Episodes 3 and 4.
Yes.
Adam, go ahead and take it away.
I actually don't remember what the episode is called.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
But it's episode 3. I know that much.
Well, now I got to look it up. Hold on. Well, I mean, continue, start talking or whatever.
All right, okay. So anyways, we open with Carmy, who's at the group therapy that he's been going to work on himself. And one of the things that he talks about is that his restaurant is void of any type of fun. Like, this is just a job. Well, it's not just a job, but it's void of fun. Like, it's become a chore. It is a chore, basically. And one of the things I've personally noticed is that they've really driven home this theme of every second counts. And visually, that is indicated with the clocks being on our peripheral vision. We always see like a clock, or even the phrase "every second counts" in different scenes and shit. And this was certainly the case within the group therapy segment. As Carmy's talking, we get the front view of Carmy, and then you see the clock in the distance. Carmy mentions how things were. Carmy mentions like the concept of fun in his family, or what fun means to him, and how any semblance of fun was usually fucked over by his family, because things end up going wrong for him. And Carmy has to live. Carmy, the way he's learning to manage that is just by accepting to live in the moment, and that he needs some type of amusement to serve others. In order to be his best version of himself, he needs to have some type of amusement. Oh, what a funny fucking coincidence that we get this fucking flame that just got introduced on episode 2. Yeah, well, you got something to say about that, or we're gonna wait for that until?
No, we'll wait until we get there to that moment, and I'll fucking rail about that for a minute. But go ahead.
Yeah. So something I didn't. Okay, just to make a mental note, I wrote initially how many weeks they were to count down to open. So I didn't do that in episode 4, but at least in episode 3, we're given the idea that they have 11 weeks to get to the opening, right? So they got to take care of a lot of shit.
Yeah.
So Sid is looking at restaurants that have flopped, and that's kind of giving her anxiety. She's like on the computer and seeing all these reviews of restaurants and shit. And she's just like, well, fuck, this is going to be a monumental task to get this thing up and running and also get a Michelin star on top of the fact that there have been a number of high-end restaurants that have flopped over in recent events. Like shit, starting to get a little concerned with what's going on, right?
Yeah.
Carmy and Sid are working on the chaos menu, and at least from what I could understand about it is that they're going to be making new shit pretty much daily.
Yeah.
Which is kind of like that's a task in and of itself.
Yeah, it is.
So now they're trying to get their team or their staff up to snuff because since everybody's kind of moving up, they kind of need everybody that was already working there to level up as well. So now they're going to be sending Marcus on a trip to refine his culinary palate and also to come up with 3 fucking desserts. Like that's his mission, is that he needs to come back with 3 desserts from his trip. So Carmy suggests that for Sid and himself that they're going to need to work on refining their palate and also coming up with dishes by trying Chicago or tasting Chicago, basically.
Yeah.
And we're given a flash of the every second counts again. Ibrahim is fucking off from the academy, the culinary academy, and Tina is starting to kind of come into her own at the culinary school. And we cut over to Richie, who is finding out that his ex-wife got a promotion, and his daughter's telling him this, and I'm sure he's starting to feel like the world is kind of coming down on him. Like he doesn't know what he's doing at the fucking Bear. His ex-wife is getting a promotion, and his child is probably thinking he's an incompetent adult, which kind of sucks.
It does.
Claire, who is the flame that we were just introduced into episode 2, actually contacts Carmy and tells him, I got your fucking number because I know the facts, and the facts, not FACTS, but FAKS, was able to procure Carmy's fucking number. And she says that she can send the fax to beat his ass if she wants to. So then Claire was asking, which is the woman that is, I guess, a childhood friend, is saying like, hey, what the fuck was that about? You gave me a wrong number. Did you do that on purpose, or did you just really make a mistake? So then Carmy fucking lies and says, oh, no, it was definitely an accident. I didn't mean to do that. And so Claire comes across, this is like one of the worst fucking things a person can ask. But if you're willing to say yes, you better fucking marry this person, because if somebody asks you to move boxes on your first encounter with them and I don't know how long, you better fucking marry them at this point.
Yeah, that's the only option.
Because I wouldn't do that.
No. You don't know why? Because you ain't a punk ass sucker. All right. I swear to fucking God, man. I even said before I watched this episode, because I was talking to somebody and they were asking me about, like, what episode are you on? And I was like, I'm just going to start episode 3 of season 2. And they're like, oh, cool. And then I was like, yeah, man. I was like, they're like, what did you think about him giving whatever the chick the wrong number? I said, man, I was just so proud of him. Cause like, you know what, man, he's standing on business. He's like, I don't got time for this shit. Get fucked. I don't got time to be distracted. And then literally the next fucking episode. You got my number. Okay. Yeah, let's go. Let me fuck off. Let me fuck off on my responsibilities. I'm supposed to be going with Sydney to get fucking tasting shit so we can figure out this goddamn menu. We have 11 weeks to be fucking open a restaurant with a goddamn chaos menu. And you want to go out and fuck off and move boxes? You want to go move fucking.
And the funny thing is, they showed his whiteboard, and she's like, "Oh, what are you doing?"
And
he's
he
like,
looked at it, and he's like,
"I don't fucking know."
Get a whole bunch of shit. The whiteboard was full. As soon as that scene concluded, I said, I hope by the end of the show, the restaurant fails and Carmy kills himself. I hope that's how the show ends. That's what he deserves now.
Unacceptable, dude.
Unfucking acceptable.
I think you can't set up this goal, this impossible task of starting this restaurant and then sabotaging yourself with this fucking love interest that you're who the fuck knows if it's even going to work out? Why even bother if it's just going to hamper literally anything you do? It's taking time or deviating time away from the task at hand, which is starting this fucking restaurant, honoring your family, honoring the memory of your brother, dude. What the fuck?
Oh, but maybe you want to get some pussy a little bit here.
Yeah.
Get the fuck out. You got to put all that shit aside, man. You got to put in the fucking work. And if you're not willing to do that, get out of here. You ain't serious. He ain't serious. He ain't fucking serious. Oh, I gotta have a little bit of fun. You ain't serious.
Yeah.
Fuck, it's so disappointing. Because Marcus is going to fucking Copenhagen
to fucking cook,
to learn to cook.
Yeah,
his mom is dying. His mom could die. Now, granted, this comes in later, but just to prove the point, she only had a couple years to live, and it's been 4, and she's still hanging on. She could literally die at any moment, and he abandons her to go to fucking Copenhagen to learn how to make dessert better. Because that's how dedicated he is, and he's not even having any ownership stake in this shit. Sydney is fucking taking no money for 6 months to take no pay to work for free for 6 months so they can get this thing fucking off the ground. That's how dedicated she's and dedicating her life to this. Fucking Tina is going back to school. Can't teach an old dog new tricks. Oh no, this dog's ready to learn some tricks. I mean, Ibrahim, he was in Black Hawk Down, so it's okay. He's seen some shit but
he's a trick ass Mark. So
he is for fucking off. Okay, him and Carmy, they deserve each other.
Yeah,
even fucking Richie is only deviating to drop off his daughter, and fucking he's like, oh, I gotta go fucking drop her off, and then what is he doing? Right back in there, getting mold up his butthole with fucking Fack. Fack doesn't even technically work there, and he's putting in more work now.
That's bullshit, dude. He's the fucking captain of the ship, and he ain't hauling on his own shit.
Yep, he's in the rear with the gear. Terrible.
Offensive
on the highest. Anyway, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, so Claire mentioned something about Fack, about how a little tidbit of information about Fack. Fack claims that Carmy is his best friend, and then Carmy being the asshole. So he's willing to draw the line with Fack, but not this new flame.
Yeah.
What the fuck, dude? Fack has literally broken his back to make sure the hardware of the beef itself is operational. Doesn't even fucking work there, but of course he's being the stand-up dude that he is. Carmy's not even going to call him his best friend. He literally calls him for like everything to fix all the shit, and you're going to tell me this guy isn't his best friend? What the fuck?
Terrible.
Fucked up.
Traitor.
Carmy's a bastard.
He is.
Literally deserves it. This is why he deserves all the shit that he's gotten.
Yep.
For all the anxiety and him developing a stutter and
lighting his kitchen on fire.
Oh my God, the culinary, my anxiety. I got my boss treated me like shit. No, you treated everyone else around you like shit too. So
weakness. That is fucking true weakness right there. It's disgusting.
It is truly disgusting. So Sid and Carmy were supposed to meet up at some fucking restaurant, and Sid is ordering a bunch of food, and I think the waiter points out something about Sid's book, which is Coach K from Duke, and it's about sports, and she's not really into sports, but the only thing she's really supposed to be taking away is like how greatness is fucking made in a pressure cooker situation.
Right.
And Carmy ultimately bails on Sid to help this fucking girl move her boxes and shit. And Sid is throwing up ads all over the city to make sure that they have a staff
at fucking opening. And of course, Carmi's fucking off, being a dickhead. So at least Sid is carrying her own fucking workload. At least she's doing that. Like, she is not even a partner, but she's acting like somebody that owns the restaurant. Yeah. And I can respect that. So Sid is making her rounds around Chicago. We get all these B shots of fucking Chicago, like all these notable places over the city, which is something that's kind of been going on since the beginning of the series. Sorry. Sid is watching people just doing their dirt as chefs and everything. Mm-hmm. And this older guy is giving advice to Sydney, which I presume they knew each other somehow. I don't remember the guy's name, but he was like this older white dude.
Yeah.
And the advice that he gives to Sid is that hospitality and service have to be impeccable. And you have to trust your partner in order to make this fucking restaurant work. And she's kind of like, shit, I don't even know if I trust Carmi. Or we're kind of given that with this like pensive or worrying face that she has after that guy tells her his advice. So Sid starts like talking to different people from different businesses, and she talks to this butcher, and he's mentioning how he himself had his own high-end restaurant and his partner ended up stealing the money and fucked off and went to Hawaii with it.
Yeah.
And everyone is talking about how, so all these people are giving their own cautionary tales about all this shit that's happening to them. And Sid's like, fuck, dude, I might be signing myself up for this shit. And so Sid's not having any luck, and Marcus and Fack are working on the kitchen, and they're trying to get things in order so that they can get inspected and all that shit. And Marcus lets Sid know that the inspectors are coming because and Sid is trying to one of the funny things that happened in the episode is that like all this shit's going on, and Sid is wondering like, hey, have we had any prospects come to the restaurant?
Yeah.
And Marcus is like, nah, we haven't had anybody come through, but she's like, let me know. And seconds later, she sees like this kitchen staff sitting outside the restaurant. It's like, hey, have you guys heard about this new restaurant called The Bear? And then this fucking, I guess the manager is like, hey, are you fucking trying to poach talent from, are you trying to poach employees from my fucking restaurant? And she just fucks off or whatever.
Yeah. She's like, she literally asked them, she's like, are you guys happy here? Like, that was fucking hilarious, man.
Yeah, it was probably one of the highlights of the episode. And Sydney ends up at a restaurant and is having a sundae, and we don't know what the deal with her mom is, if she's just kind of absent or she's fucking dead. I think she's dead.
Yeah, I think so.
She sees a mother and a daughter eating together, and it's kind of making her feel some type of way. Carmi makes the abrupt decision as Sid is coming back to the restaurant. She finds out that Carmi has been fucking about with the restaurant and is completely doing the restaurant over from scratch. Like, they're clearing out walls and they're going to redo everything. And Sid's kind of pissed. She's like, hey, this is something that I would have loved to been in on when you made this decision. Like, what the fuck? And then Carmi's like, you know what? You're right. I'll do it. I'll keep that in mind next time. But it's like, you already made the choice. So it's like,
yeah,
if we're going to be partners, like, why are you doing shit behind my back or not including me? So, and he apologizes, and you could tell it still bothers her or whatever. So we end with the episode with Sid going to this like secret location to work on the menu, and her shit's not working out. And this guy, like this unknown figure, offers her a job, and she's like, no, I'm going to be working at the Bear.
Yeah.
And she spits out her food, and she's having a fucking panic attack, and that's how the episode ends.
Yeah.
So what do you make?
That was a pretty good episode. Fuck Carmi. He's a piece of shit, especially because of the fact that she's getting told by all these people, hey, man, you got to make sure your partner's not an asshole. You got to make sure he's not a shitbag. You got to make sure this, that, and the other thing, right? And meanwhile, the only reason she's interacting with these people in the way that she is because he fucked off on her already and was like, oh, no, I got to do something else to do. See ya. And then she's been out all day doing this shit that he was supposed to do with her. And then she comes back to the restaurant just to find out that he made major decisions without even fucking shooting her a text. He couldn't bother to text her back right away to say, hey, by the way, I'm like busy. Like it took a hot minute. She was already like ordering and eating food and then whatever. And then he was like, oh yeah, I'm not coming. Okay, great. But like you couldn't even bother to shoot me a text and be like, oh, hey, I'm going to tear down some walls. Wait, what? Like what walls are you going to tear down? Oh yeah, it's just something that needs to be done. Cool. Like how easy is that, right?
Yeah. And on top of that, I think Sid was under the illusion that she was in trouble or like her and Carmy weren't on the same page.
Yeah.
Because she fucked up like some sauce or some bullshit. And she's like, oh, are we still cool or whatever? Are we good? Or she's like, oh, yeah. We'll take care of it. We'll meet up and get food or whatever. I think she was under the impression that they were not on the same page and he was blowing her off or some shit. And then this is also exacerbated by the fact that they had a misunderstanding with the walls being blown out and a complete renovation of the space and shit.
Right.
So
speaking of just when I was watching this episode in particular, it gave me a great idea for a show.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's not like it's just like it would be us, right? And we try to make.
Hold on, you save that idea for a BFN.
Oh yeah, all right, good job, good idea. There you go.
I'm gonna cut you off.
Yeah, thank you. Good work.
Yeah,
right.
make sure you have that in your phone.
I'm gonna add that in there. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, anyways, go ahead.
So you talk about it in BFN. So if you want to find out the rest of that plot thread within the Game Rage storyline,
you can go to the Buttfuck Nowhere show.
Yeah, listen to the Buttfuck Nowhere show so you can follow up on that thread.
Yeah.
All right, so I like this episode with as many mishaps that happened in this episode, continuing the shit stirring within the Bear universe of how things are just like failing upwards and they're barely getting across the finish line for their fucking death. That was one thing that was emphasized like heavily is like this wall of calendar dates, and it's like, oh, we're fucked. And they're constantly reminded that they're being fucked because they're on a tight schedule, and of course Carmy's fucking off and trying to court this childhood friend. It's such a fuck over to like the rest of the team, dude.
Indeed.
Fuck Carmy.
Yeah, fuck that guy.
All right, so let's go ahead and get over to episode 4. We open with the B shots of the deadlines, and there was actually one area that was circles that says "fuck my life to death."
Yeah.
That shit was funny as fuck.
That was funny.
So Sugar gives the breakdown of problems. Mike never ran the business as a DBA and owes the IRS. So that was kind of a big thread that happened. Sugar is scared of being a parent and doesn't want to end up like her family because apparently her mother was problematic and just their whole family in general. And she's just kind of hoping, Jesus Christ, if I'm going to become a parent, I hope I don't pass down whatever bullshit that I got to my daughter or son.
Yeah.
So Richie and the group congratulate her as the wall falls over, and she's like, please don't tell anybody that I'm having a kid. The wall fucking comes down and everybody hears her and they congratulate her. So Marcus is fucking off to Copenhagen, and his goal is that he has to come up with 3 desserts. Marcus runs all the shit by his support system for his mother. Like, hey, just want to make sure that everything's all good. I'm going to be fucking off to Copenhagen. And he's like super stressed out because he's basically leaving his comatose mother behind, and she could die at any point because they already told her she only had a year to live and she's been alive for 4. So she could basically die at any point.
Yeah.
So then we get all these. So then we get Marcus and his roommate making sure that he has everything. And then eventually he flies over to Copenhagen. And then Marcus immediately starts grubbing on Copenhagen food, Danish food, or whatever, all this great food that he's trying. And Marcus is going to be living on a boat, and he has to feed this pet and water the plants on the boat. Marcus meets Luca, and they immediately start getting to work. And again, we are visually reminded of Every Second Counts. This kitchen that they're at has the fucking little placard that says Every Second Counts.
Yeah.
Marcus has to whip up a recipe that Luca suggests. So Sydney starts working on interviews for potential hires, and nothing's really clicking. Luca is teaching Marcus. So we cut back to Luca and Marcus, and he's teaching Marcus techniques and he's struggling. And Luca at least is being patient to him, even though things aren't going too particularly well. So then Marcus is talking or recording something, presumably for his mom. Like he's doing like these voice messages and shit. I imagine for his mom, and he's taking photos and sharing his recipes that he's working on. Mm-hmm. And Marcus is working on this gelatin dessert, and he's having like local eats on the side. And Fack and Richie asked Marcus when the last time they had done. So they call him overseas and they're like asking like, hey, when's the last time we done a fire suppression test? And he's like, if we don't get this right, like we're going to get fucked over by the inspector and Carmi's going to beat our ass. So Marcus talks to them and he eventually hangs up, and he's starting to wonder if like this cat named Coco, if it even fucking exists, he's supposed to be taken care of. And Luca washed the dishes before he. So we're getting the lore on Luca, who is this new character that is like running a restaurant and shit. And he's talking about how he never had like this massive like culinary background. He basically worked his way from doing dishwashing to being a chef in a restaurant.
Yeah.
And Marcus is giving his own lore that he played D3 football, but he never really had any direction in his life. And Marcus used to eat at the Beef and wanted a job, and Mikey ended up giving him a job to cook bread, or basically bake bread. Luca gives lore on how he got good, because Marcus was like, hey, how did you end up becoming the chef that you are today? He's like, I fucked up a lot. Yeah. I ended up fucking up numerous times, but one of the things that helped me was that I had a nemesis. And I don't know if that was referring to Carmi.
That's how I took it, that he was saying that he was essentially, he thought he was the best, and then once he met this guy, he was like, oh fuck man, I'm not. He's like, it took all the pressure off though, because now I'm no longer the best, but like, oh, I gotta try to get good as this guy. And that's, yeah, basically I feel like he was alluding to Carmi. That's how like they know each other.
Yeah. So Luca's just talking about how you can just accept the fact that you're not that great, but the people that are around you that are above you, you can learn a lot from them. So that he suggests that the way to become an exceptional chef is just being open to the world and having a good support group, or just having good people around you to motivate you to get better. And, yeah, so Lucas says it's not about skill, but about being open to life and being surrounded by good people. And then Marcus asks, like, hey, was it worth it to do all this shit? And then Lucas like, I'm not really sure. Ask me tomorrow. Yeah. So then Marcus is again grubbing hard on all this shit around Copenhagen. And so then he starts working on the first dish that Luca was trying to teach him in the very beginning. And so then he actually makes the dish and he takes a photo of it or whatever. And then Marcus comes back home for the restaurant and he finds this dude that is crashed. He's crashed into a fucking fence on his bike, and they don't really have they both speak two different languages. So they really didn't have an understanding, but he just ends up helping the dude, and all the guy does is he hugs him for like 15 seconds and then he fucks off and never to be seen again. That was I don't really know what that segment was about, but kind of interesting.
Yeah, it was.
So Sydney and Marcus like catch up, and Sid is talking about the Coach K book that she's reading, and Marcus is talking about like, oh yeah, like Coach K was a fucking goat. And they're talking about the book, and then she mentions that they failed the fire suppression test, and that's going to set him back a bit. And then Marcus has fears that his mom is going to die while he's away. And then Sid mentions that she misses Marcus and he misses her too. So now we're getting a little bit of a plot thread between Marcus and Sydney having a little bit of a deeper relationship, more more than friendly, I suppose.
Right,
Or at least that's the illusion that we're given. So Marcus is making this dish with caviar, and he finally gets like this scoop technique that he was trying to learn in the beginning of the restaurant segment of meeting Luca.
Yeah.
And I think that's how the episode ends. So Marcus, this whole episode was more or less kind of dedicated to Marcus and him becoming more of a dessert chef and refining his palate and all this shit. So what did you make of this episode?
Yeah, this was more Marcus centric, I guess, this episode, which was good because I think he was lacking in some needing of character development and whatnot.
That donut shit in season 1.
That was fucking terrible. Like that, yeah. He needed to grow from that. And so this was cool to see him do that and to see him basically, I did think it was funny because I'm like, man, you guys are spending how much money to send this motherfucker to Denmark? And he only needs to come back with 3 fucking dishes. This motherfucker better come back with like 20, all right? Like new ideas for shit to make this worth it. Because, I mean, they're probably spending... listen, he's staying in that boat because he's like getting hooked up or whatever. So he's staying for... But I mean, shit, the flight alone, it's probably like a couple $1,000.
Yeah, it ain't cheap.
And it's like, yeah, you guys got a little bit of money right now, but like, okay, you're paying for Tina and Ibra to go to school, right? Okay, that ain't gonna be cheap. That's got to be like $10,000 a person to get this fucking culinary arts deal or whatever.
Yeah, but they also got $500,000 from Cicero to.
Yeah, but they're also now tearing down walls and fucking redoing the entire inside of the thing. Those costs add up real fucking quick.
Shit, they're probably gonna need $1 million.
They're gonna run the fuck out of money. That's what's gonna end up happening.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, this was a good episode. I enjoyed it. You get to see a little more of that development between Marcus and Sydney. Like there's something, I don't know, brewing, I guess, if you want to call it that.
Yeah, romantical
feelings,
I suppose. I mean, I don't know if it's full scale. I don't know if we're gonna get that, but we'll see.
I hope not, because as we all know, any workplace romance always ends in fucking horrific terror. So you should probably avoid that at all costs.
Stay away from that.
Yeah, fuck off with that and never fucking talk. Don't even talk to anybody that you work with. As a matter of fact, just quit your job right now. Just quit your job and just fucking stay at home. That's all you got to do. But yeah, this was a good episode. I enjoyed it. These 2 episodes were cool. They were good. They got some more lore drops on people, you know, like you said.
Yeah, I think season 2 has done a better job, or at least it's done an excellent job of rounding out a lot of the characters that we didn't get to get a full wrap on.
Right, yeah.
From the first season. And Marcus definitely needed more of a background drop than some of the other characters, because I mean, for all we know, this motherfucker was just obsessed with donuts, and that was kind of fucking annoying because that's all we saw for like the first
whole season.
The first 8 episodes. All right, I'm like, we need more, and he needs better motivations of why he's in the shop. And I think we're seeing a lot of people, a lot of the characters find their purpose within the fucking bear. It's like this whole place is gonna fix potentially like their own problems within themselves, but also it's also going to benefit the restaurant so they can complete, you know, their dream of like honoring Mikey's memories, but also having a kick-ass restaurant. But they're all like on these separate goals, but they're going to converge back together to hopefully get that 1 Michelin star.
Yeah, true. And it'll be cool to see when that eventually hopefully happens.
I don't know about that.
So maybe, I don't know. Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see, man. Maybe Carmi will crash and burn.
Honestly, now, like I said, with Carmi's nonsense and betrayals, I think he needs to just go. He needs to just fucking fail miserably and hopefully die in a fire, some kind of a kitchen fire.
Yeah, shit, man. I thought, well, we'll save it for later. I'll mention it next episode. But yeah, again, I mean, I think the show is doing a killer job on a episode to episode basis. I mean, we're not watching a fuck ton of shows, but this is leagues better than fucking Shogun, because that shit collapsed in on itself on the last leg, and this is very disappointing.
Very disappointing. Very
And that's the fact that they're coming out with the season 2. Fuck no.
doubly disappointing. We're definitely not watching that.
I think I might have to watch it just to see
Yeah,
what
just to
happens.
shit on it. Yeah, of course. But like, yeah, we can say we're not going to watch that. All right. But like, yeah, of course we're going to watch it so we can shit on it.
Right.
Because that seems to drive the ratings, especially because people love that shit, man. So hopefully it's just as bad and we can just shit on it and fucking.
Yeah, but we're not doing it because you
On
like
purpose.
it. We're just doing it because we genuinely hate how Shogun ended.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Anyways. All right, cool. Well, fuck. You got anything else to add?
no.
Excellent.
Yeah, season 2 shaping up to be a great one. All the secondary characters are getting their fucking due, and then we have this new flame and Claire, and I can't wait to see how Carmi's gonna fuck over the bear dude.
Oh, yeah, because that's coming. I can feel it. Anyways, well, if you want to hear us talk about other things, you can go to GameRageMagazine.com. You can follow us on Instagram and TikTok at GameRageMag. At Instagram and TikTok at Game Rage Magazine, Twitter/X at Game Rage Mag. Adam's at All Gas No Trash Official for all your musical stuff. Also, go listen to the All Gas No Trash Official podcast. Well, All Gas No Trash podcast. It's not called All Gas No Trash Official. It's just called All Gas No Trash. Anyways, all right. Well, cool. Thank you guys for listening. We'll catch you on the next one.
Oh, hey there, buddy. It's me, 1930s announcer guy, here to congratulate you on making it through this episode. As our heroes are getting in their jalopies and riding off into the literal sunset, they wanted me to tell you thanks for listening to their radio broadcast, and should you be so kind as to follow them on some fancy schmancy radio station publication called Instagram and TikTok at Game Range Magazine, and on some other thing called Twitter/X at Game Rage Mag. Also, they wanted me to inform you and ask if you could be so kind again as to visit something called a website at www.GameRageMagazine.com. I don't know what that is, buddy, but you should probably go do those things. And, don't forget to tune in next time to the Game Rage Movies and TV radio broadcast.